PAX West 2024 was a great show for the Noisy Pixel crew. At the event, we were able to play a range of titles from across the budget landscape. However, a number of these upcoming games, particularly in the indie department, truly stand out to us. I was fortunate enough to experience 10 of these indie gems firsthand, so here's a rundown of my impressions, their mechanics, and what makes them unique in today's gaming landscape. My time with Witch of Oblivion was short, but it was packed with some intense Souls-like combat where I found myself at odds against some powerful enemies. I should probably add that I was a little tipsy when I first picked up Witch of Oblivion, but I was glad that I did. As Liva, the Witch of Oblivion, I had to juggle between ranged fire magic and up-close melee combat, which definitely gives the game a dynamic feel that will likely evolve further into its full release. The procedural nature of the explorable forest added a level of unpredictability to exploration, and I was kept on my toes as new paths opened up to the boss. What intrigued me the most, other than burning down the forest, was the crafting system, which promises a lot of depth through Liva's cauldron of chaos. While I didn't get a chance to dive too deep into this during the demo, the idea of customizing gear and creating unique builds certainly adds a layer of strategy, and I'm curious to see how the roguelite elements affect the game's longevity and whether the story's multiple endings will offer any meaningful variety. HARUKA Beyond the Stars felt like a vibrant blend of anime visuals and RPG mechanics. During my brief hands-on session, I was able to get a taste of the space exploration aspect and controlling the protagonist Yuki as he journeyed across planets with his mysterious companion, Maya. The 3D anime art style immediately stood out, making each scene feel like an episode of a high-quality anime. And I should add that if you like the visuals of this game, check out Giraffe and Onika, which is the first game from this developer released in 2020. The combat was fast-paced, requiring quick thinking to switch between Yuki and Maya and tackle various enemies. Although during the demo I only scratched the surface of its story, the episodic structure and manga-style cutscenes were rather intriguing. I'm looking forward to seeing how the full narrative unfolds, especially with the promise of planet-hopping adventures and boss battles at the end of each episode. Love Eternal took me by surprise. With its challenging platforming mechanics and haunting atmosphere, the demo had me running and jumping through tight obstacle courses, but what really stood out to me was the gravity reversing mechanic that adds a unique twist to traditional platforming. As Maya, I found myself constantly needing to adapt to the shifting environment while avoiding spikes, lasers, and traps. The game's precision controls gives a satisfying sense of mastery over obstacles, making each clear section feel pretty rewarding. Further, the hand-drawn pixel art was mesmerizing, with each screen meticulously crafted to bring the realm of the selfish god to life. Accompanied by a hauntingly beautiful score, Love Eternal weaves its psychological horror narrative into the platforming genre in a way that I didn't expect. While I only got a brief look at the story during the demo, it did leave me intrigued to see how Maya's journey will unfold and whether she can escape the mind of the Forsaken deity. The action in Homura Hime was intense from the moment I jumped in. As the Flame Princess Homura, I was thrown into a fast-paced combo-heavy battle against demonic enemies. The demo gave me a solid look at how the combo system works, and while I only encountered a few enemies, the bullet hell style attacks were visually stunning and adapted a level of difficulty that will likely challenge any players during the full game. The demo's short length left me curious about how the story will unfold, especially given the game's narrative promise of purging archdemons. The demo highlighted the potential for varied combat strategies, especially with unlocking weapons and equipment tied to defeating demon bosses. I'll be interested to see how this character development and world building play out in the full game, but when this game was first revealed, I knew right away that it was a game that I needed to cover. At PAX West, I was able to play Urban Myth Dissolution Center. During the demo, I played as Azumi, solving urban myths through investigative gameplay that mixed social media sleuthing with puzzle solving. The psychedelic pixel art immediately caught my attention, making each urban myth feel pretty surreal and unsettling. The episodic structure promises unique mysteries to solve, but I was only able to play through some of one of them, leaving me eager to see how the others will be structured. I didn't dive too deeply into the psychedelic abilities of Azumi's mentor, Ayamu, but from what I saw, these powers will likely play a crucial role in uncovering each case's deeper layers. While the demo was brief, I'm excited to see how the narrative develops, especially as more complex urban legends are introduced. PAX can be a rather loud and bustling show, and Herdling provided a relaxing yet emotional experience while I was there. Guiding a herd of calicorns through a picturesque mountain range felt simple at first, but the environmental puzzles and challenges quickly ramped up. And although I only saw a snippet of what's to come, the worldless storytelling struck a chord with me, creating an emotional bond with the herd that I didn't expect to have in such a short demo, especially with the loudness of the event. The game's unique setting combined with the herding mechanics that definitely give Journey meets The Last Guardian vibes promises to be pretty emotional. I'm looking forward to seeing how the full game balances these peaceful moments with the more intense stampede sequences teased during the first presentation. There's a sense that Herdling will be as much about survival as it is about companionship. My short demo of AWAKEN Astral Blade left me very impressed with its fluid combat and dark fairy tale narrative. Playing as Tanya, a bionicle girl tasked with battling mutated creatures, the combat just felt responsive, with combos and parries that rewarded precise timing. The demo teased a few boss encounters, and the fast-paced action had me eager to learn more about the different combat skills and story paths available in the full game. The story's branching paths and the promise of multiple endings are particularly appealing, though I didn't get time to explore the narrative choices completely. Nevertheless, the fast-paced combat and mystery world building set the stage for a game that will likely offer plenty of replayability. Ruffy in the Riverside charmed me with its unique mechanics and beautiful presentation. During the demo, I had fun experimenting with the copy and paste feature, which allowed me to change the world's texture to solve puzzles. The open world setting felt expansive, and while I only got a taste of what's to come, the creativity behind using this tool was undeniable. The lighthearted tone and whimsical characters make Ruffy stand out from other action-adventure games, and I'm eager to see how the swap mechanic evolves in more complex puzzles and how it shapes the open world exploration in the full game. SacriFire was an interesting mix of old-school RPG charm and modern-day mechanics. The combat system combines real-time and turn-based elements, creating a unique and fluid battle experience. I didn't get too far in the narrative, but the demo hinted on some deeper moral choices and a cast of characters that will likely offer plenty of surprises. The hybrid pixel art and 3D graphics worked well together, giving the game a distinct visual identity. Honestly, it didn't take long for me to see SacriFire and want to play it, so I'm definitely going to keep my eyes on this one. My brief experience with Everdeep Aurora left me wanting way more. Playing as Shell, a young feline searching for her mother in an underground world, I was drawn into the game's atmospheric pixel art and soothing soundtrack. The platforming just felt smooth, and the narrative exploration had just enough mystery to keep me engaged. While I didn't get too deep into the puzzles or side quests, the game's unique characters and hidden secrets promise rewarding exploration. I look forward to diving deeper into the world when the full game is released, especially if only to uncover more of the game's emotional narrative layers. While my time with these games were short, each demo offered something unique and intriguing. From action-packed combat systems to emotionally charged narratives, PAX West 2024 was the home for indies this year. So if any of these games stood out to you, be sure to let us know in the comments below and wishlist them to let the developers know. Thanks for watching. This video is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon. Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers providing independent gaming coverage through news, reviews, previews, and more. Check out our Patreon to help support our continued growth and subscribe to keep up with all our future content.
Noisy Pixel.